Welcome back guys to my channel. This is episode 1 of the Road to Glory series with Haas, as we are aiming to make this team world champions in both the drivers and the constructors titles. We have already done a push lap here, as we are nearing 13 minutes left of Q1. We have put ourselves behind Alonso here, giving us a nice tow for the 3 straights on the Bahrain track.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
Actually, making this car turn is quite the hassle, because you have to run maximum downforce, and that sacrifices all speed on the straight, and you finish in a quite realistic position behind most other cars. Not really a lot you can do, especially as we are not allowed to make our own R&D, so we are letting the team do that. But we do get a nice exit out of turn 12, I think that is, and we go over the curb, and we do have Alonso here giving us a tow on the final straight, and in P11 at the moment. We are up 8 seconds, as we had slowed down on the last lap. We grab a little bit of slipstream at the end, and we are gonna go P9, and I don't really think we can improve on that. But at the end of qualifying, Bottas takes pole position, and we finish P17, ahead of both Williams and our teammate Mick Schumacher.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Perez, Lando Norris and Leclerc, Ricciardo, Sainz, Gasly and Fernando Alonso, Vettel, Stroll, Esteban Ocon and Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Ellis, George Russell and Mick Schumacher, Latifi and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
But here we go. Counting down the lights. 5 lights have gone, and away we go. Quite a decent amount of wheel spin at the start, as we get overtaken by our teammate and Tsunoda. Heading into turn 1, we have a slight dive bomb down the inside, being very careful not to take any front wing damage, as we re-overtake Tsunoda and our teammate on the inside of turn 3. Tsunoda then tries to take his position back on the inside into turn 4. We give him the space, and we have a better exit out of this corner, and we power down. He then tries to put his car where it doesn't belong on the inside of turn 5, I think that is, and completely spins out, taking out our teammate's front wing in the process. As you can see on the replay, that's not really a space where you overtake. Slight front wing damage for Schumacher, but at the end of this lap he is going into the pits to change that one out, and Tsunoda also stays in the race. So P18, heading into the end of sector 2 on the very first lap. Giovinazzi ahead of us, and the 2 Williams cars that we beat in qualifying. We should realistically have a decent chance of being faster than the 3 guys ahead of us. Kimi has always been a hassle to overtake, as he's a lot faster than what his Alfa Romeo suggests that he would be. But I think here at the end of, or in the middle stages of lap number 2, we are right on the gearbox of Giovinazzi here, as we have a better entry into that corner and a better exit. We seem to be carrying a lot more minimum speed as we are right on his gearbox, and being that the AI uses a lot of battery on lap 1, we do have a lot left in the tank to just power ahead of him. But on the exit of the corner we have a little oversteer moment, we correct it, but that then gives Giovinazzi the ability to just power back and get ahead of us. But that won't stop us, because into turn 1 we have another dive bomb, and this time we get DRS on Russell and we leave Giovinazzi behind us for good. So next up we have the 2 Williams cars, and on lap number 3, actually ahead of us, like 2-3 corners ahead, the Ferrari of Leclerc has a little moment, as you can see on this replay. Getting into this corner, he randomly throttles it and spins around. And then you have the Aston Martin cars and Pierre Gasly, who just goes straight into him as he's having a fight with Sebastian Vettel ahead of him, and then gets pushed wide by Lance Stroll. So the Aston Martin's really working that Alfa Tauri straight into the Ferrari. So that's why Gasly is behind us right now. But at the end of lap number 4, we are right on the edge of Russell's gearbox. We get DRS. The red flashing lights suggest that Russell does not have any battery left, but that Mercedes engine and the slipstream is really helping him out. I double dive bomb into turn 1, being very careful not to have any contact with Latifi, as we are running simulation damage. We go on the outside of the track there a bit. Latifi tries to re-overtake us, but into turn number 4 we give him the space, but we have more traction and we just get the overtake done. So P13 now from P17. Bad lap number 1, but we have managed to recover a bit. The car does not feel very fast at all. We are running maximum downforce, and even though we can take the corners pretty good, except for this one, that was terrible, we are losing a lot of time on the straights to Kimi. 2.3 seconds ahead, the Alpine of Ocon on softs, 4 seconds ahead. We are gonna overtake him once he pits, because we're on the mediums. And I think any moment now we should be asking Jeff for Kimi's lap times.
Raikkonen is ahead of you. Our gap to the car in front is 2.1 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 4 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1 minute 36.5. Gap
So
to
we are a
teammate
decent
behind
chunk
is
faster than Kimi.
38.0 seconds. No need to worry about tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Ricardo pits ahead of us, both me and Kimi, and comes out between us, and I have no hopes of overtaking a McLaren car, and I have a Ferrari right behind me. But I was hoping that Ricardo could drag us closer and closer into the DRS of Kimi, so that we can overtake him on the straight, because it was quite easy to overtake Giovinazzi in the same car. But into this straight right here, we are gonna let.
Looks like we might have an issue. Hang in there. We're attempting to manage it.
Yeah, that's how this race is going for us right now. Sainz is getting closer and closer. Our engine provider is not going to be held up by the worst team in F1. Quite an easy overtake for Sainz. We put our car right behind him, hoping for the slipstream. But into this last corner we are going to get the message of...
Okay, we have a severe engine issue. Find a safe space to retire or return to the pits.
Into the pits we go, or
This
not,
is serious.
because the
We
game
need to retire as soon as possible.
takes the autopilot and puts us back on track.
Box,
This
box.
is
We're
not me
coming in this
driving,
lap.
and Jeff going absolutely crazy. Yeah, I think this was a decent run for our first race. We We seem to have a bit of pace on the Williams and the Alfa Romeos, and perhaps with a little bit of
Are you
R&D,
all right?
we
Engine
can
off,
fight
engine
for
off.
the P10 positions. It's a decent start, at least from my perspective. So far following the story arc of Mazepin, as he also DNF'd in the very first
Smiling
race.
faces on the pit wall after a superb win here at Sakir, and rightly so. What a brilliant effort from the whole team. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So Lewis Hamilton takes the win, as he did in real life at Bahrain, but this time both Red Bull cars are on the podium with them, with Bottas finishing P4.
And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Lewis Hamilton takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Well, Lance Stroll would be my pick. He managed to keep a cool head today whilst pushing through the field.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Looking at the times at the end there, we would probably have gotten lapped by Mercedes. Looking at our best time and the best times of faster cars. The energy store is what failed on us. It's disappointing, but at the end, I don't think it would have changed much. At least we showed that we can overtake the cars that we are actually fighting with at the start. And the next race is going to be the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. I'm gonna just call that Imola. It's way better on the tongue.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car, ready for the next race weekend.
That's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time. Peace.